here's the thing about the chosen ones. And when I mean chosen ones for what and from who? Who chose you to be what? Well, that's the thing that I'm going to dive into, is the chosen ones is basically the one who decides to answer the calling. Everybody gets this calling, and a calling of what? And it's this calling of knowing, this inner knowing, an intuitive feeling that you know that there's more to this than this reality, as what you've been taught in school and what the corporate system has taught you, to program you, to mold you into, so you can fit into society. But the calling is something internally within you, where it's like a nudge that you feel, and you felt it for a very long time, probably since you were a kid or maybe a teenager or a young adult. And it's like this feeling that you almost know that you're in a game, in a simulation kind of thing. And it's like this feeling of who set these rules? Who said we needed to do this that way, etc.? And that's the beginning of discovering the truth. It's the beginning of going into the truth. And so that nudge that you get at the very beginning, that like questioning, wanting to question how things work, why is it this way? That's the beginning of the calling. And then when you decide to answer the calling, it's the courage to sort of go into a rabbit hole, honestly, and to discover all these hidden truths from the world. And you'll find out that at the very bottom of the truth, it all links to spirituality, but not necessarily just the superficial spirituality that you see on TikTok and like on Instagram. I'm talking about true esotericism, mysticism. And the people who say they don't like to meditate, right? Or they say that it's not for them because their mind's always running. Well, that's the whole point. It's to slow down your mind. And these people who don't like meditation, or who haven't discovered it yet, only if they knew what meditation does. Meditation, man, it's like the secret to life. It's the secret to the universe. And let me tell you something. Meditation is a skill. You develop it. No one's good at anything from the start. You weren't good at cooking the very first time you tried it. You weren't good at soccer, at hockey, at the piano, playing guitar. You had to learn. You had to develop the skill to do those things well. And the masters of meditation have reached levels of enlightenment that are literally out of this world, that is no longer from this third dimensional reality as we know it. They've achieved a much higher consciousness that takes them, that they're able to travel astrally through meditation. I mean, you see these people online. They're online. It's not a secret anymore. People who levitate, people who are able to read minds, people who, psychics, like all that. Meditation is a lot more than just like, it's a lot more than just finding relaxation. It goes beyond that. I mean, relaxation is the first step. It's the first step into other dimensions, because you have to get into the relaxed state first and foremost in order to access higher consciousness. But it starts with that. That's a great start. But then as you become better and better at meditating, listen, the things that I have experienced through meditation, who needs ayahuasca? Who needs DMT? Meditation is that. It's the gateway. It is the trick. the things that I've achieved through meditation, people wouldn't even really believe in me, because they're so out there. And I didn't really meditate until I felt like a need for it, like until my late 20s. But my first spiritual experience was when I was 20, and I had a spiritual awakening accidentally. And I'm talking about the awakening that is, because there are multiple versions of a spiritual awakening now, because the subject of spirituality has expanded, so there are different like ideas of what an awakening is. But for me, a spiritual awakening is awakening to spirit, to your higher self, to the I am consciousness. There is something inherently true about you underneath all these layers of self-identities. And so I was able to accidentally, it's not that I was able to, it just happened accidentally from a skateboarding accident where my identities were gone and I was just living in my being for 6 months. That is a long time to stay in an alter reality. And once I got out of it that I was like, okay, whatever that was, I need to go back there. That was heaven. And then inevitably, I became a seeker, because once you see and felt and lived the truth, you have to have it. You realize what life's really all about, and that's what it's all about. And then nothing else really matters. So yes, after, I would say a post-awakening can be debilitating if you don't have a proper integration process, if you don't have a guide, no guidance, which I had none of, by the way. So I was completely disoriented. I fell into a deep depression after that. But nonetheless, I became a seeker. It's almost impossible not to become a seeker once you know and seen too much. And from there on, the weirdest things have happened to me. The awakening was when I was 20, and at 25, I received a vision of the new earth in the middle of the subway on my way back from school to go home, in like a busy subway cart. Out of all places, for 13 minutes, I was locked in a trance, and I got this vision. It was more of a message, a vision, but in a message that was clearly telepathically transferred to me by I don't know who or what till this day, but it was very clear. There was no like vagueness to it. I mean, there were holes because they only had 13 minutes to deliver the message, but it was absolutely so real. And then I go online and I do the research that they told me about, and it turns out that it's actually a thing. So you can see how that could really play with one's mind. And so I didn't do much about that for a while. And then when I turned 33, then things really got wild. And that's when I discovered my purpose and discovered my mission on earth and all that, and why I came here. And so at 33, I actually got in touch with an ascended master. Yeah, you guessed it, Yeshua, who I had no like affiliation to. I mean, I grew up Catholic, but I had no connection to Jesus per se, like Catholicism or any religion. So when he came through and he stayed with me during my whole 33rd year, that it really opened my eyes, and I discovered or developed a lot of spiritual gifts, and which I've had since I was young, but never like very mild. And then at 33, they all got like, it's like they were on steroids. And it really is from that point on that I started to be on this path that I am, to deliver this information to the people. And all from, yes, my own experience, but also from the wisdom and the knowledge that I know. And some of the information, I don't know how I know. I just know. And that's what I'm trying to translate through these media platforms. And the funny thing about all this is that in all this, I'm still very much me. There is a humanness about me, obviously. Like, I'm here in the 3D world. And so I'm a very typical millennial girl who just grew up as a city girl, in the digital world. And yet there is this profound, like, spiritualism about me at the same time. So it's a strange balance sometimes, but it is what it is. So, yeah, chosen ones. You choose yourself because the calling is there. Because if you're watching this video, obviously, there's some sort of energetic frequency that's matching. So this video is basically telling you in a way that you have been called. You are called and you know it. You've sensed it. Maybe you didn't hear it with your ears, but you heard it in your heart. And it's a matter of whether you're going to answer it or not. And that's going to make you into a chosen one or not. And the chosen one for what? Well, the chosen one to bring about a new earth. Are you choosing a team of harmony, or are you choosing a team of disharmony? And the way that the world is going, we need you on board. But at the same time, I get it. I get that it's hard. It's, trust me, there are times where I wish I didn't have the spiritual awakenings and all this esoteric spiritual stuff, because it really does mess with your mind for a while. But I do recognize it as a blessing, of course, at the end of the day. But when I was in really dark times, there were times where I was like, why me? But now, after fully embracing this role, it kind of, you make peace with it and you become devoted to it. So in my life now, there is a sense of devotion to what I'm doing. And it's become more important than materialistic ambitions that I used to have, like financial success or this or that, a car, bigger house. This has taken over my life in a way, and by choice. But it is a co-choice at the same time. It's what my higher self wanted for my human self. And I can feel that this is actually a part of my Dharma right now, and that my past lives have sort of been along this path, because your soul is on a continuous path just through different bodies, right? So I could feel this in my soul, that this is my life path and this is my higher path. And in order to make sense of it all, it'll only be in hindsight from the future. So right now, especially at the beginning, it won't make a lot of sense to your logical mind. It's going to seem like it's out of the left field. What am I doing? This is so out of the ordinary. People are going to judge me, be ridiculed, and all that. But once you're able to toss that aside and focus on center yourself and get in touch with you, your true you, your higher self, then things can start to look different. And then you become on this path of devotion, the higher path. So, yeah, the chosen ones are the one who answer the call. It's not necessarily the ones who get the call, because a lot of people get the call and few answer them. I think this was one of the Bible quotes from the book of John. I think he said that many were called, but few answer. So this is basically your calling once again. And I can tell you that you're being called, but you're the only one who can answer it. There's no one else who can do that for you. And this is like the Matrix as well. In the Matrix, Neo goes sees an oracle, and he asks if he's the one, and she actually tells him that he's not. And it wasn't until much later that he had to go through the journey of self-discovery himself to answer that call for himself, despite what the oracle said. And this is why when I read cards to people, oracle cards or tarot cards, there's something I got used to saying now at the very beginning of a reading. I tell them, don't let a piece of paper dictate your life. Now let's begin. Because these oracle cards, don't get me wrong, I use them time to time, but it's only the reason why it resonates when people see those cards and they're shocked. There shouldn't be any shock, because it's just, you're shocked because you recognize that that's the truth. That's what's going on in your life. And that's what cards do. So it's just a mirror. It's a reflection to what already is inside you. And from that, of course, you can develop insights and, wisdom and deeper things you need to know about your situation. But it shocks me that it shocks people. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it at that today. But yeah, I think I was rambling a lot in this video. I've never done a video quite like this. I think I'm trying to show more of an authentic side to how my messages can come across. But chosen ones, hear the calling, listen, and then sit with yourself if you want to answer it. And once you answer it, it can change your life. And change of life doesn't always mean a smooth sailing, okay? It can mean disruption at the beginning, especially, because it's a shock in the system. You're changing from one form to another. But if you're willing to, if you have the courage to go through that, and if you're willing to do it, then you're one of the chosen ones. Okay. I love you all, and I will speak to you in my next video.